Hi, my name's Isabelle Hall, and welcome to CPS360 Interview. I'm here with Olivia Hayes, a reporter for KMIZ. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Okay, so we're going to get started with the questions. So my first question is, what really inspired you to pursue a career in journalism?
Definitely, I would say the class that I took at the Career Center really fueled it.
Yeah.
But I always, whenever I was growing up, and it's probably not normal for a lot of families, but my family would always have the news on at dinner, and then that's also what they would have playing throughout the rest of the night. And so I was just always very tuned into just people on the TV in the news side of things, but I also, I love reality television. That's my guilty pleasure, and so I knew I wanted to do something in the media field, and then taking the class that I took with Mr. Whitman at the Career Center kind of helped me narrow down exactly where I wanted to go, and then going from there to college really just helped me like refine everything down. So I feel like I got pretty lucky because I just had a path and I stuck with it, and there was only just like a couple bumps of narrowing things down.
Yeah, that's great. What is the most challenging part of your job?
Definitely my work-life balance. I'm scheduled usually like a 9-hour day, get an hour for a break. So usually like an 8-hour day. I will a lot of times work 10+ hour days. And so just having to figure out when I need to get groceries and do my laundry, but also whenever I need to see my family and see my friends to kind of keep my sanity and keep me grounded. So that's something I've been working on definitely over the last few months for sure.
What is a typical day like for you?
So I currently work Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 6:30. The 6:30 is flexible for sure. So we'll get in and we have our morning editorial meeting around like 9:45, 10. I'll get my story for the day, and then I'll start shooting emails, I'll start making calls, and then I also have to work on a web story. And so their big thing is digital first. And so we want to get the web story up as quick as possible because that's what people are going to click on in the hours that we're not on air. And so I'll get that done, try and get some interviews set up. I'll try and have everything done, or most of what I can done, by 2 p.m. because then we have another editorial meeting. And that brings in where the dayside crew can give their update, but then the nightside crew comes in and they get their story for the day. So we're kind of killing two birds with one stone right there. And then I'll give my update. I get any feedback and corrections, I guess. If I need some like redirection, especially on my story, which happens pretty often. And so I'll get that. I'll finish up what I need to. Ideally, I have everything in a perfect world done by 3:30, because I go on air by 5, and then usually at 6 as well.
Gotcha.
And so I'll have to do 2 different story hits with 2 different angles.
Okay.
And then after all of that, I come back and I have to update my web story, and I have to leave a recut for the evening shows, which is just like a smaller blurb of what I worked on for the day, and then I get to go home.
Wow, that sounds like a packed day.
It is, yeah.
What skills do you think are the most important for young journalists to develop?
I think, so I always think back to, we had Katie Couric, she's a former Today Show anchor. She visited our campus to do a shadow premiere of this documentary film she was working on. And she did a Q&A after, and I actually asked her that same question. And she told me that empathy was the biggest thing that you could have as a journalist, and that's going to take you like so far, just because when you're able to put yourself in other people's shoes, especially the people that you're interviewing, and sometimes the story that you're doing is not the most fun story. It really helps you to be able to connect, and I think it just makes my interviews that much better whenever I can try to relate. Obviously, sometimes it just doesn't land. But a lot of the times it's, these people are spilling their guts to you about sometimes pretty personal things, and so it helps with that. But I also think that just persistence and motivation, because it's really easy to burn out.
Yeah.
And just being mindful of your limits, and it's okay to just take a personal day sometimes and like recoup yourself and then get back to it.
Yeah. What is a story that you had to report on that really impacted and or inspired you?
Oh gosh, that's a really hard one. I would say a couple months ago, I had to respond night of to a shooting in kind of off East Broadway over by the scooters over there. And this 18-year-old kid ended up dying from it. And I later learned that his brother, who I interviewed, I think the next day or the day after, was somebody that I went to school with. Oh. And it was somebody I went to middle school with. I knew him throughout high school. I was really good friends with him in middle school. And so I reached out to him and I was like, I don't mean to overstep. Yeah. And that's the first thing I kind of always do in these situations is like, I know it's a really hard time for you. I'm not trying to overstep. I was hoping that kind of our previous friendship would help me out in a little bit for him to see where I was coming from. But obviously, I ended up going over there and talking to him. And during the interview, at one point, he started crying, understandably so. But it was hard because I knew this person and I knew them in a totally different atmosphere. Anytime I had always seen them, they were just like fun and goofy and messing around when they probably weren't supposed to be. And then also I just got to see him bring in all his other siblings, and he's the oldest. And so for him, he took it the hardest because, you know, as the oldest, a lot of times you think you're supposed to, you know, look out for your family and defend your family. And so that was probably the most impactful just because I had the personal tie to it. Yeah.
So you said that you were a former Bruin when we were talking. What were some of the activities that you were involved in during your time in high school?
So I was on the cheer team.
Yeah.
That was probably the main thing I did because outside of that, I worked a lot. Yeah. On my 15th birthday, I filled out job applications.
Oh man.
Because I just wanted to be able to like have my own money, do my own things. Yeah. I wanted to try and be as independent as possible, as most rebellious teens. And so outside of work and school, I was doing cheer. Yeah. And then, which I guess kind of looped into it. But then also my last 2 years, I did the early college program. And that was super helpful for me because I was able to graduate, post high school college. It's so weird to say it. It's weird to format it, but I was able to get out of there a year early, which was helpful for me when it came to student loans and all of that. So. Yeah.
How do you prepare before going on the air?
Definitely trying to get myself ready physically because they are very on it about if you're going to be on camera, you need to look the part. Yeah. But also, you have to say stuff without looking at a script when you're a reporter. And so I will go over my script a couple times, but I also kind of bullet point it in my head to, these are the key details. If I just so happen to blank, I know this is the general idea of what I need to get out. And sometimes I have to fall back on what's the point of what I'm saying? If there's anything I miss, I can always kind of reiterate it at some later point. But it's definitely like a mental game for sure.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Isabelle Hall, and this was a 360 interview. Thank you so much for watching.